Kevin looked up from his blueprints mid-sentence. The couple across the table was staring out the window, and he had no idea what just happened. That moment by the window did not come out of nowhere. It had taken 2 full weeks to build 2 weeks of work, poured into one old, tired house. The kind of house that leans a little to one side. Dust on every window. Paint peeling off the walls in long curls. Most people walked in and saw a ruin. Kevin walked in and saw numbers. Square feet. Support points. The exact spot where the floor had started to sink. So when the young couple arrived that morning, he was ready. His blueprints were spread across a folding table in the empty front room. Page after page of them. Lines, angles, measurements. Everything they could ever need to know, all in one place. He had done the work, and he was proud of it. He began with the walls. He explained which ones were load-bearing, and what that meant, and why it mattered so much. He moved his finger across the page and showed them where the new steel beam would sit. He talked about the foundation. He talked about the old wiring hidden behind the plaster, and how all of it had to come out before anything new could go in. The young man nodded. His wife nodded too. They were polite. They asked a small question now and then. And Kevin, taking those nods as a sign to continue, kept going. More numbers. More pages. He told them about the insulation, how thick it would be, and how it would hold the heat all through winter. Here is the thing about this couple, though. To them, this was not just a building. This was every dollar they had ever saved. Years of small choices. Trips they skipped. A wedding kept simple, so the money could go here into wood, and pipes, and a roof over their heads. They were young. They were a little scared, and they had come that morning hoping to feel something. But Kevin could not see that. He saw a checklist, and he was moving through it well. So he turned to the kitchen plan. He showed them where the new support wall would stand. He gave them the cost of the better windows next to the standard ones. He explained the drainage. Good information. All of it true. All of it correct. And slowly, without him noticing, the room began to change. The young woman's questions stopped coming. Her husband took a small step back. Their eyes lifted off the blueprints, away from his moving finger, and went to the wide, dusty window at the far end of the room. Outside was nothing special. A small backyard, full of tall weeds, a bare tree, a gray sky. But the two of them looked at it for a long moment, together, as if they were watching something he simply could not see. He tried to win their attention again. He pointed to a fresh page and started to explain the heating once more, slower this time, friendlier. They turned back to him. They smiled. They thanked him for his time. And not long after, they stood, shook his hand, and said they would think about it. Then they walked out into the gray morning, and the old house was quiet again. Kevin was not worried. Honestly, he felt good. He had given them the lowest price they would find anywhere. He had the clearest plan, the most detail, the most experience in the room. In his mind, the math was simple. Best price, best plan, best choice. So he gathered his pages and waited for the call he was sure would come. The call came a week later, but it was not the one he expected. The couple had picked someone else, another architect. And here is the part that made no sense to him at all. That other man had asked for more money, more than Kevin. For the same broken house, the same job, the same goal. They had looked at a higher price, and they had said yes to it. For 2 days, Kevin could not stop thinking about it. He kept doing the math in his head, and the math kept telling him he should have won. So he did something he rarely did. He called the couple, gently, and asked them not to argue, just to understand what had made the difference. Their answer was simple, and it stayed with him for a long time. They told him that he had talked about the wood, the walls, the beams, the pipes, all the things the house was made of. But the other man, they said, had talked about something else. He had stood in that same dusty kitchen and talked about Sunday mornings, about the smell of breakfast, about their future children running across a floor that was not even built yet. He had not sold them a renovation. He had sold them the life they would live inside it. Kevin sat with those words for a long time, and slowly he understood. He had spent 2 weeks measuring a house. The other man had spent his time picturing a home. It was a simple thing, really. When a person buys a drill, they do not want the drill. They want the hole it makes. And this couple had never come for concrete and steel. They had come for the life they would live inside those walls, and Kevin had spent 2 weeks selling them the one thing they were not there to buy. So the next time he met a client, he changed. Before he opened a single blueprint, he asked them about their life. He asked what they pictured when they imagined the place finished. And he listened, really listened, before he ever reached for his pages. The strange thing was, his facts never changed. The numbers were the same. The price was the same. But now, they meant something. Because he finally understood the lesson that Old House taught him. People use logic to explain the choice they make. But the choice itself is almost always made by the heart.